So I hope you found a comfortable place to settle in and you're ready to start working through your personal brand playbook. And we're going to start with personal brand development because just like any brand, regardless of whether you are a large corporate brand or you are a brand of one, like myself, you really need to have a strong and recognized brand. And a personal brand is no different than a corporate brand. It's really your reputation. It's the things that people say about you when you're not in the room. And we all have a personal brand right now, even if we don't realize it. And if we don't manage our own personal brands, other people are going to manage that brand and that perception for us, and we may not like the direction that they take it. So what I'd like to talk to you about right now are the 4 steps that I teach in my workshops and online course called Personal Brand Camp. And those 4 steps are ask, choose, develop, and communicate. We have to start by benchmarking. Any marketing project needs to start there because we need to understand, what do people currently think about our service, our product, or our brand today, so that we know if we need to continue to move in that direction and strengthen the perception that's currently there, or if we need to do some course correction. So it's the same for personal brands. So the first step you're going to work through is ask. And what I would encourage you to do is one of 2 things. The most effective thing to do is to make a list of 15 or 20 people that represent different spheres of influence in your life, because each one of those spheres is going to have a little bit different perception of you. So it's important to get that 360 view. And those spheres are going to represent people that you've worked for, who have worked for you, colleagues, friends, family, acquaintances. And you're going to find a way to ask them all one simple question. And that question is, what is the first word that comes to mind when you think of me? And you're going to share with them why you're asking so that you can encourage them to be really honest. Let them know it's for personal development. And there are a lot of ways that you can do that, and it just depends on what you're comfortable with. Some people, you reach out via social media. Some people make phone calls. Some people send a text message. I'm a fan of using tools like Google Forms or SurveyMonkey so that people can be assured that their feedback is anonymous, and I just send them a survey link with one simple question. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as you're encouraging the honesty. And what you're going to get back is a list of words that people have provided to you. And what's really interesting is you're going to see a trend in those answers. There are going to be 2 or 3 things that are repeated by most people. And some of them are synonyms for each other, so you're going to have to kind of look a little bit and think about it. But you're going to find a trend of 2 or 3 things that are being repeated. And that's really the core of what the current perception of your brand is today. Now, I told you there are one of 2 ways that you can do this, and doing the full survey work is recommended because sometimes you do get some things that surprise you. But if you're really anxious to move forward, then there's a reflective exercise that you can use this piece of the playbook for. And I would say that most of us have a pretty good idea, if we're being honest with ourselves, what our personal brand perception is today. And so these are things that we've heard on performance reviews in the past. They're solicited or unsolicited pieces of feedback that we've gotten from acquaintances or colleagues or friends or family. We pretty much know what those things are. And so you can also use this as a reflective exercise, just to sit for a few minutes and be honest with yourself and think about that. If I were to ask people what those words are that come to mind when they think of me, what are they? And write those down in that ask section on that worksheet of your playbook. Now, once you've done that, here comes the really, really good part. And you should spend some time on that ask portion. But the exciting part comes after that, because then you get to choose, and that's step 2, and you'll see that in the playbook worksheet as well. After you've taken a look and you've spent some time reflecting on what people currently think of your brand today, now it's your turn to decide. And what I'd like you to do is to think about what you want to be known for. What is that one word that you want to come to mind when people think of you? And that becomes your personal brand power word. And I want you to write that into that worksheet. I want you to put it up next to your desk, put it on your computer, keep it everywhere so that it's in front of you, so that it keeps you focused and intentional on living that brand every single day. The third step in the personal brand development system then is to develop that brand. And you'll see that there are 3 boxes on that worksheet that are going to work you through thinking about, what does your brand look like visually? Is it clean? Is it energetic? Is it professional? what is that look that you're going for? And that needs to be reflected in everything that you put in front of people relevant to your personal brand, from the clothes that you wear to the type of notebook that you carry with you, to the font that you use on your stationery and in your email. These things that we take for granted, but they really do add up to create that brand perception. So what does your brand look like? Think of some adjectives to put in that box. Then think about what your brand feels like. And these are the things, these are the emotions that you want people to feel when they have a touch point with your brand. Do you want them to feel excited, empowered, more knowledgeable? What is it that you want them to feel when they have that experience with your brand? And write some of those ideas in that box as well. And then think about your brand voice. What does that brand sound like? Again, does it sound professional? Does it sound energetic? Does it sound insightful? What is it that you want that brand voice to be? Is it formal? Is it informal? And write some adjectives in that box as well to give yourself some direction and some intention on how you're going to live that brand every day. Then the fourth step, which is so key because this is the step that I see people miss most frequently, is you have to communicate that brand. You can build the best brand and have the best intentions, but if you don't tell anyone about it, it doesn't make a difference. So I want you to think about what it is that you want to achieve over the next 12 months. And I want you to think about who the key influencers are that can help you get there. Now, these key influencers may be individuals, they may be organizations, or they may be associations. It doesn't matter, but you need to have a short list of key influencers that you're going to focus on communicating with this year. I want you to write down that list of at least 5 key influencers that you're going to commit to communicating your brand to over the next 12 months. And then I want you to think about the channels that you're going to use to reach them with your brand messages, communicating with them who you are, what you do, and what it is that you're aspiring to achieve over the next 12 months. Think about where those key influencers hang out, both in person and also online. So what are they reading? Where are they hanging out? Which channels are they paying attention to? Are there associations that they are a part of that have events that you could put yourself at? Think about those channels and make a plan for getting intentional to communicate your brand on a regular basis, consistently and repeatedly in front of those key influencers over the course of the next 12 months. Think about those 4 steps of ask, choose, develop, communicate. Take some time to work through those, and then we're going to move on to strategic planning. I'll see you on the next coaching module.